series, and electrolysis. Right? One thing that students always think, this area is going to be hard. Right? It will be hard if you don't work on it. If you work, it's not very hard, right? But there are some mathematical and logical things that you need to understand. Then only you can figure out the complicated areas. Okay, right? So you have to work methodically. Is that clear? You have to write notes nicely, have everything written, and my discussions in the tutorial. Okay, and let's get started. Now, these are all workbooks where like we do activities throughout. No theory, writing theories, long essays and stuff, right? Okay, the first thing we are going to do, you are going to draw, right, the structure of these substances, right? You are going to draw the structure of these substances, right? Online students, please note that the hard copy of this tube is there in the class. We are not releasing the online soft copy of this, but I'm releasing you the snapshots, which you can use it and write things in the book. Okay, so you are going to draw the structure of these substances. Let me give you a small hint. So, for example, if you are going to draw hydrogen, I'll draw hydrogen for you. Can you guys remember hydrogen's dot and cross diagram structure in the sense? I want you to draw the dot and cross diagram of hydrogen. Right? Dot and cross diagram of hydrogen. You can talk to your friends if you don't know, doesn't matter. Right? And sodium chloride, can you remember last shell is enough? Right? Sodium chloride, 1 electron.
So this is covalent bonding, right?
No, not everything is covalent bonding. No, that one is covalent bonding, right? So sodium is like that, and chlorine, you have 7 electrons in the last shell. How do you know the number of electrons in the last shell? Look at the periodic table, look at the group number. Group number is the number of electrons in the last, right? So then in the formation of sodium chloride, sodium is going to give what? 1 electron. Is that clear? Right? Then sodium is becoming an ion. Now I'll do 1 or 2 examples, rest you can do. So it becomes an ion. Chlorine is also now ion. It is not atom. So now it's going to be chloride ion. Going to be chloride ion. So I want you guys to understand that electrons have been transferred from one atom to the other atom. Then sodium sodium. You just learned in the previous lesson. What you have to do? What you have to draw? The metallic bonding. Or metallic bonding structure. Right? Okay. If it is ionic bonding, covalent bonding, dot and cross diagram. Sorry, don't worry. Yeah, Vidul.
So when I turn on my camera, I can't see the screen and the screenshot.
Even you can't see the screen?
No.
Sorry. Okay, Vidul, you are using a mobile device, no? Not a
Yes,
laptop, right? All right. By the way, now last week also you joined online. Can you ask your mother to give me a call?
Okay, sir.
Okay, after the class.
Okay, sir.
Sandeep? Sandeep? Vidul also. Answer this. What's on Mahamud? Sodium nitrite is going to be a little tricky. We have to like, what are we doing here? We are refreshing our knowledge on bonding, right? And how the electrons transfer and stuff. Not responding. That okay. So I'm not going to make you like do it 100% alone because this is not the lesson we are doing today, right? But this lesson is really important for you to understand today's lesson, right? Let's say sodium and hydrogen. Sodium has one electron in the last shell. So I am doing this so that students who have forgotten or students who haven't learned this properly in the previous lessons to cover it up, okay? So then sodium is going to give the electron to hydrogen also. And sodium become, okay, sodium become sodium ion, Na plus. Because when you give an electron, that's the main important thing you have to understand. When you give an electron and then you become what kind of ion? What kind of ion? Yeah. When you give an electron, then what you become? Positive or wait, point करने के ना बता दो. Positive or negative ion? Huh? Positive ion because electrons are negatively charged. When you lose the negative charge, you become positive. You get it? Right? So then sodium becomes positive. Hydrogen is going to become negative over here. It has only two, but hydrogen can bear only two maximum. That's why. Right? Hydrogen is in group. It has only one electron shell. So it can, the one electron shell can have only maximum two electrons. You can't have more than that. Is that clear, Daniela? Yes. Sorry. Okay. And sodium, you must have drawn sodium ions in the middle and electrons are moving around these sodium ions. We just learned this, right? Metallic bonding, right? Let me show this, just the negative charge. So the electrons of sodium atom, you know, it doesn't belong to anything, right? They are part of the electrons deal completely. Those electrons are on the sodium atom, all right? Okay. Chlorine. Did you draw the chlorine? What is the type of bond, Sharon? Chlorine, chlorine? Covalent. And each atom needs what? Each atom needs one electron. Right? Each atom needs one electron. That's why they are sharing one each. Right? So they are sharing electrons. Has any atom taken that electron fully? Has any atom taken that electron fully? No. They are sharing. Is that clear? Right. And it's here. Right? It is also sharing one electron because hydrogen needs one electron. It's a non-metal. Chlorine is a non-metal. They are sharing. So these are the things that we have done in the previous lessons, which is very important here. Okay. All right. Now, do you understand this thing? The the formation of chemical bonds is all about something to do with the electron transfer, right? Electron sharing and electron transfer. Is that clear? Right? Okay. So now we'll fill this table. Now tell me bonding in sodium, metallic, right? Hydrogen, covalent. Chlorine, covalent. Sodium chloride, ionic. Sodium hydride, ionic. Hydrogen chloride, covalent. I will fill Okay. Now, the interesting part, listen to me very carefully. When sodium is in sodium metal, when hydrogen is in hydrogen gas, when chlorine in chlorine gas, when sodium in sodium ionic sodium chloride, and chlorine is there in ionic sodium chloride ionic compound. Okay, and HCl hydrogen is in a covalent compound, Cl is also in a covalent compound. I want you people to write the valency of each atom. Valency करा. You decided this number of bonding by the valencies, right? Valencies करा. Valency वाली valencies clear न पड़ा. Sodium की valency किया था.
1.
Valency है.
1.
Number of electrons that it is incorporating in the bonding. 1. Okay. 1 understood. We don't understood, right? That's 1. Okay. And what's the valency of hydrogen? වෙනම ස්ටෝරියක් මම මේ කියන්න යන්නේ ඔයගලන්ට. හරිද? වෙන ලෝකවල ඉන්න එපා. Like try to harmonize your mind with my lesson story, okay? වෙන කොයිවත් යන්න එපා. හරි. Hydrogen what's the valency?
1.
Why it's 1 lesson? Hey, hydrogen ගේ valency එක 1. It has only 1 electron. It's going to contribute 1 electron for the bonding. Right. What about chlorine? 7 electrons are there in the last shell, but it is going to contribute only how many electrons for the bonding? 1 electron for the bonding, right? So then it's going to be 1. How about sodium chloride? Right? Get along with this discussion. Sodium chloride, sodium की valency का मुकाबले. Sodium chloride की sodium की valency है. Fine. Yeah.
Thank you, Gona.
Right? It is 1. Right? Thanks, Ravi.
This is the most unexpected time this would happen.
These are not things to happy. Right? Right. Let's say, give me a second, Lamai. We suddenly lost our electricity. I think it's a scheduled power cut, right?
So sometimes
So
it's
the one
maintained.
is it?
Oh, hurry. Okay. Let's get started. I think until 4. Right? Okay, let's come back to this. Right? So sodium. Sodium valence is 1. And chlorine's valence is also 1. It is also 1. Right? Chlorine's valence is 1. So valency of hydrogen in HCl, how many electrons which it has contributed? 1. So the valency of chlorine is also 1. Okay. Listen again. Here in sodium chloride, sodium is +1. Chlorine is -1. In sodium hydride, hydrogen is +1. Sorry, sodium is +1, hydrogen is -1. Right? And their hydrogen doesn't have any charge. This hydrogen doesn't look having a charge. So my question is, does the number called valency tell us the chemical state of these atoms? Valency එකෙන් අපිට chemical state එක පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා. Then for each atom in this example, all are one, but they are not really just one in their real substances. Sodium is +1, chlorine is -1. Is that clear? So then this valency doesn't tell us any chemical information, right? Sodium is a metal, but its valency is 1. Chlorine is a metal, its valency is 1. But 1 doesn't tell us this is a metal or this is a non-metal. Therefore, valency is such a, what do you call, simple concept, which doesn't tell us any chemical information. You get my point? Therefore, we need to have some more advanced concept on this. That's why we are going to place a new topic called what? Oxidation numbers. What do you call them? Oxidation numbers. Now I'm going to put the oxidation numbers. Have a look at this. Okay. Sodium's oxidation number in sodium metal is 0. Now, done in oxidation number. Don't worry, huh? But what you need to do, right? You try to understand the pattern. Okay. Hydrogen's oxidation number is 0. Chlorine's oxidation number in chlorine gas is also 0. Right? Sodium's oxidation number in sodium chloride is +1. So +1, what do you feel by chemically?
It's a metal.
Good. But not always. One electron is given out. Removed. Do you get that? Right? Huh? When you see -1, what does it tell?
It needs
One electron has been grabbed. Right? And HCl, you really don't get it 100%, but if you think about the acid base, right? HCl is producing hydrogen +1. Chloride Cl-, even though covalent, still it can form +1 and -1. Right? So these are the oxidation states of the atoms. Okay. Now tell me, what is the difference between valency and oxidation state? What is the similarity first of all? Oxidation state is also something like valency, which tells you number of electrons in the bonding. Chemical state. But in oxidation state, you can understand whether the electron is given out or taken in. So that's a wonderful information. Plus, oxidation state in normal element, if it is not bonded to different atom, sodium is not bonded to different atom. Hydrogen is not bonded to different type of atom. Chlorine is not bonded to different type of atom. In such cases, oxidation state is 0. Right? Oxidation state is 0. Right? If the electrons are given out, oxidation state is +1. If the electrons are taken, oxidation state is minus. Not 1. It can be 2 electrons, then 2. Is that clear? So then what's the difference between the valency and oxidation number? Oxidation number tells you whether the electrons are removed or gained by putting a sign in front of it. Is that clear? Right? By putting a sign in front of it. Right? So you can write that. Oxidation number is similar to valency. Oxidation number is similar to valency. You didn't write the numbers, right? The numbers in that table you can write.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you repeat what to write? Oxidation number.
නෑ ඉස්සලා මේ ටේබල් එක කම්ප්ලීට් කරන් ඉන්න මේක මම ඒක නතර කරලා රීඩ් කරන්නේ. Did I? NaH miss.
So it's also 1 and 1. No?
Yeah, NaH is also 1 and 1. 1 and 1. That's where a very important thing can be seen. Sodium is +1, hydrogen is -1. So you have to understand, same atom can have different what? Oxidation states in different compounds. It's very relative. Okay. Right. So then now we write the point. What is the difference between valency and oxidation number? First of all, we write oxidation number is also similar to the valency. Oxidation number is also similar to the valency. Similar to valency. But it shows whether the electrons are removed. Whether the electrons are removed. Whether the electrons are removed or gained. Whether the electrons are removed or gained by assigning plus or minus signs. By assigning, you don't know thing. But other note එක තියන්න ඕනේ ඉස්සරද. ඔය කටුවක් වලින් එතනත් තියෙනවා වගේ ලියලා බෑ. හරි. Assigning plus or minus signs. By assigning plus or minus signs. Is that clear? Right. So then oxidation number is something like that. You can also write a point. Oxidation number shows the chemical state of oxidation number. Oxidation number shows the chemical state of oxidation number shows the chemical state of atom in a compound. Oxidation number shows the chemical state of atom in a compound. That means whether it has lost the electron, whether it has gained the electron, or for example, when you see that sodium's oxidation state is 0, which means it hasn't done any electron business with anything. So it tends to react. If oxidation state is +1, it doesn't mean that now it is reactive. It has given out electrons and now it's positively charged, stable. So it gives you an idea, right? Doesn't mean that positive means stable, okay? Not negatively stable either, right? You will learn more later on in your chemistry in A levels. But here, oxidation number is a new topic for this O level. But that's the bad news. But the good news was, we used to teach oxidation number by force for the last 10 years of badges.
So by that.
By force, right? Because I පොඩ්ඩක් හරි out of syllabus මොනවාද කියලා දුන්නම් ළමයි අහන මේ syllabus එකේ තියෙනවනේ. දැන් යෝගල අපිට මේ උගන්වන්නේ. එහෙම ළමයි අපිට උගන්වන්නේ නෝනේ. ඕම මේ උගන්වන්නේ. හරිද? Then but we decided, even other teachers decided, let's teach oxidation numbers, then it's easy to understand the redox. Right? නැත්නම් electrons oxygen වලින් එක තේරුම් ගන්න අමාරුයි. Right?
So we will get for the test.
But in your new syllabus, finally Cambridge has identified what we have been doing is
Correct.
they have put oxidation numbers officially into the syllabus. Right? Okay, then think around. So how do we know oxidation state of? මට අද කවුරුත් online ළමයිව පේන්නේ නැහැනේ. දැන් නම් මේ online cancelම කරලා දානවා unless a special request is done. I can't see any of the online students. And then attending the class in time is very important. Right, Ranumi, Metuka, both of you are late. Let me know why. Drop me a message personally. Okay. Because the process is hard. Right? To run the process smoothly, to get you guys to work, study hard. Sometimes it's bitter. Have to scold. But the fruit is very sweet. When you become very sweet in the process, the fruit is going to be bitter. Then මෙතන sweet and හැදුව ජොලියේ ඉන්න හදනවා තමන්ට කැමති වෙලාවට එනවා අර ප්‍රශ්න මේ ප්‍රශ්න කියලා වැඩේ කරන්න නැතුව ඉන්නවා අන්තිමේදී රිසල්ට් නැති වුණාම පේරන්ට් උත් අපිට පණින්නේ ළමයාත් අපිට තමයි පණින්නේ. කවදා පේරන්ට් කියන්නේත් නෑ ළමයා වැඩ කරේ නෑ නිසා. ළමයා කියන්නේත් නෑ මේ අපි වැඩ කරේ නෑ නෙමෙයි ක්ලාස් එකේ වැඩ වුණා. Right? ඒක නිසා I have to make sure that it is strict. Okay? But I know at the end the reward is there. For example, just sharing one experience. Today, I got a message. Shall I read it? I got to read it. मैं WhatsApp දාගෙන නිකන් මාකට් කරන්නේ. I honestly enjoy myself and then share with my existing. Hello sir, I'm Chamo. Hope you remember me. Not sure what time you are free, so I didn't call you. I got my final MBBS results too. Got second upper with distinctions in family medicine, biochemistry, pathology, parasitology, and community. She's a doctor. And she got it today. And she was in my 2009 or A-level, national A-level batch in IC. Right? Would not have praise color, you know. The fruit of that hard work is very sweet even after 10 years time. Right? ඒක නිසා පොඩ්ඩක් සැර කරන්න එනවා. ඕගලන්ට කරන්නේ ඕගලගේ parents වලත් මම සැර කරනවා. I don't care who are they. Right? නේද? Doctors ලා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Lawyers ලා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. I really don't care. Right? මාව යන්න ගන්න නේ. Right? Because ultimately in the education process, parent student are always like synchronizing and trying to obey certain uncomfortable things, right? Then back, කරලා ගන්න ඔයාගෙම නෙමෙයි. ඔයා අල්ලගන්න ඒක නිසා. මගේ තේ පේනස කතා කරලා තියෙනවා. Okay, right. So rules of oxidation number, right? So when we remember these rules, you can remember the oxidation numbers and the applications of them. Okay, what's the first rule? Rule number 1. You already know that. What is it? Then read Karan. Huh? Read loud. Come on, yeah. Atoms in element form have 0 oxidation states. Right? Read Karan. Atoms in element form have 0 oxidation state. Right? Remember, your voice is the loveliest voice for your ears in this world. Your voice is the loveliest for me, and that and this same local stories here. But scientifically, your own voice is the loveliest for you. Right? Impress that's a different story, right? But the truth is, your voice is the loveliest voice. And that voice, if you tell something in your voice, your memory power is high on that, right? Okay, so atoms in elements, that means, let's say sodium, when it is element form, sodium solid, right? Its oxidation state is 0. If chlorine, element non-bonded to any other atom, right? 0. Let's say element like sulfur, non-bonded to any other atom, just use a 0. Very simple, very easy, right? Next one, read group Corrigan. Group 1 metals show +1 and group 2 metals show +2. Group 3 metals usually show +3. Right? Usually word that means slightly uncertain. But group 1 is always +1 Group 2 is always +2. For example, you see a compound called sodium chloride. No any derivations needed. You straight away say sodium is what? +1. A group 1 is +1. So you see compound like calcium carbonate. Very complicated. It seems complicated, but calcium's where oxidation state is. Calcium oxidation state is, come on, +2. Hey, calcium go there. Group 2. So you decide it's +2. Okay. And then you see barium sulfate. Barium, sulfate, oxygen, right? Now it's a compound. They are not elements. Element form make a main.
It's 2.
Rule number 1 doesn't work. Right? You don't know sulfur, you don't know oxygen, but surely you know what? Barium, which is +2. +2 +2. Oxidation number sign right? Next one. Fluorine in compound shows only -1. Yeah, -1. Monocompound again fluorine that -1. Okay, if you see fluorine like this, do you say -1? Do you say -1?
Yes.
මෙතන බලන්න. මෙතන නෙමෙයි මෙතන. මොකක්ද තියෙන්නේ? එලිමන්ට් එක. එලිමන්ට් ෆෝම් එකේදී මොකද්ද? 0. compound form එකකදී තමයි මොකද්ද? -1. For example, you see sodium fluoride. It is fluorine is -1. Okay, read the rule number 3. Fluorine in compounds shows only -1. Other halogens usually show, right? Show -1, but can have positive numbers also. What does it mean? Right? Let's say sodium fluoride is -1. Sodium chloride is usually what? -1. But there is a compound called sodium hypochlorate, right? Chlorate. Chlorine here is surprisingly +1. Don't ask why, how. In your syllabus, it is +1, but that is +1, right? In the A levels, you will be learning. Is that clear? But just to tell you, halogens can have different oxidation state, but mainly -1. Group 7 now, it takes only 1 electron. Therefore, it's -. All right. Next one. Read the next one. Oxygen compounds usually show right -2. Right. Examples. You see carbon dioxide. You say oxygen is. Don't write on the top. Just -2. Let's say you see oxygen in nitric acid. What is the oxidation state of one oxygen atom? According to this rule. -2. Right? You are going to see, now we wrote 2 compounds. Let's say ionic compound, calcium oxide. What is oxygen? -2. Right? -2. This is very easy, right? Water. What about water? Water's oxygen is also what? -2 in oxidation state. Is that clear? But there is one very special substance that you know, therefore we can't avoid it, right? There is a liquid used to wash the wounds, right? When you put that liquid, there is like whitish bubbles appear. What is that?
Hydrogen peroxide.
Very good. Hydrogen peroxide, right? Hydrogen peroxide formula is H2O2, and in that only oxygen -1. That's why it is called what? Not oxide. It's called what? Peroxide. It's called peroxide. Say peroxide, but pronounced as peroxide, right? Peroxide means like one is less, something like that in like chemistry. So it's usually -2. Peroxide is -2. And next one, rule number 5. Read. Hydrogen when bonded to metals, it shows -1. But when non-metals, it shows +1. We did it just few minutes ago, right? Hydrogen, let's say when it is bonded to HCl, chlorine is a non-metal, then hydrogen behaves like metal, right? But when hydrogen is bonded to metal, it behaves like a non-metal. It's minus. Electron number 1. Understood? Okay. Right. Quickly write down the examples and study the rules of oxidation states now. Fast. Write down the examples. Please write it in a methodical way. Yeah. Rule number 1 is only about elements. After that, everything about what? Everything is about compounds.
The distance. So they look frustrated, you have done the whole thing.
Yeah, most of the questions.
Yes, sir. So do you write hydrogen peroxide as well?
Yeah.
Sir, so only hydrogen peroxide, it's always -1, no?
Oxygen is minus. Now, I'm going to remind you again. This covering a syllabus in a theory class and bringing you up to the standards is not an easy task, right? Therefore, now we are starting today onwards, kind of intense work, right? And we are starting the revision classes also, right? I'm going to have a big loss in my income also. Yeah, I did lot of work with you, and then what has happened? I hope most of you get more than most of you got up in the result again about the whole year. Right? But anyway, I'll be very happy to see that, right? So we have to intensify our work, right? I know it's a little difficult, but you will feel really relaxed when you are close to the exam, while the others are going to cram like last moment, doing a very lame work at the beginning, right? Okay? And the marks are
Sir,
yeah.
in the MAC 2 sir, that should go under 2C.
Three. It's about allergens. I have written like correctly horizontally to the respective rule. Hey, Baba. Let's get started.
Yeah, sir. Sandeep told me.
Yeah. Sir, මෙයාට අඩු වෙලා කියලා වැඩි ලකුණු දීලා සන්දේ.
Sir, yeah, answers couple I ever
Okay. What to do?
කිව්ව කන බලනකොට වගේ.
Okay. ඒක ඒක ඇත්තටම ඒ කියන්නේ යාළුවෙට කරන උදව්වක් වගේ කියලා හිතුවට it's not a help to them. You understand that you may be done with good heart, whatever. Okay, the sum of the oxidation, next one. Now last two rules are the king of these rules, right? මේ ඔක්කොම දැන ඊට කරන මේ දෙක බැලුවා. That's why I have left a lot of space here. What I'm going to explain you this. Now you may be thinking, now these how many rules? 5 rules. අපි පොඩි වැඩක් කරමුද ළමයි? Can you close the book and just see, like, close your eyes as well and see whether you can remember the 5 rules? මෙහෙම count කරගන්න. මෙහෙම count කරගන්න. හා? මතක් කරගන්න කරන්න. නෑ මතක් කරගන්න එපා පහලට. ඕනේ මතක් කරන්න ඕනේ. දැන් බලන්න කීයක් මතකද කියලා බලන්න හිතේ. මේ විදිහේ ඕම් බලන්න නෑ. Soon after you look at the rule, then that effort is gone. Try how many you can remember. There were 5. Yes. මතක් කරන්න කොහොමද? ඉතින් මොකද තමයි ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ මේ තාම ළමා ගතිය. තාම නෑ grade 5. දැන් මතකද? 10 6 5. ඔයගොල්ලෝම count කරගන්න. තනියම evaluate කරගන්න තමන්ම. How many you can remember? මේ මතකයි. හතරක් මතක. Then බලන්න. Then බලන්න. That's all right. Now you see. So this is what you call real study. Right? You are helping your memory to improve. Then try to find out what you really forgot. Just check what you really forgot. Did you find it? Right? Really forgot. මොකක්ද අමතකුනේ කියලා බලන්න. ඒක underline කරගන්න. mark කරගන්න. හරිද? දැන් මරු මේ activity එකක් කරන්න යන්නේ. හරිද? දැන් ආපහු වහන්න. You close it again. You close it again. Close it again. And now again, try to memorize whether you remember the 5. දැන් මුලින්ම මතක් වෙන්නේ කලින් අමතක වෙච්ච එක. Right? දැන් කලින් මතක එකක් දැන් මතක නැහැ නේද? සමහර අය ළමයින්ට කලින් මතක තිබ්බ එකක් දැන් මතක නැහැ. කලින් අමතක වෙච්ච එක දැන් මතකයි. Right? Okay. Now this is the exact state of your mind. Right? This is the exact state of your mind. Right? So, and some of you, maybe the first time you get connected to your mind like this. Some I don't know. Right? So you just check your random memory. Oh, what a nature I matter. You check what you forgot, and then you are checking it again, and then you are forgetting something else, and that one is from it. That this is a, cyclic process you have to do several times until you remember everything. Right? So you can identify your, okay. But anyway, so please do it and make sure that you know that 5 without an effort. Big effort. Is that clear? And the last 2, there is nothing to memorize. Don't worry, we have to remember 7. No, last 2, just working it, rules. Once you work it out, you remember it very easily. For example, the sum of the oxidation numbers of compound is 0. Let me write sodium fluoride. Let me write sodium fluoride. Sodium fluoride. You know sodium is +1, rule number 2. Fluorine is -1, rule number 3. So what's the addition of oxidation states? What's the addition of oxidation? 0. Isn't it the rule? The sum of oxidation numbers in a compound should be what? 0. Understood? Yeah.
Always in the compound, the oxidation numbers are 0.
Sum is 0, right? So this is okay. Okay. So what is the importance of them? The importance of this is this. Look, let's say you have carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. You are confused with the valency with carbon here, right? But oxidation number is going to save you. How? You can find the oxidation number of carbon in this way. Have a look at this. Carbon, is it in our rules? Carbon, is it in our rules? No, carbon is not there. So I write carbons X. We don't know. Unknown. Do we know oxygen?
Yeah.
Yes, it's in the rule number 4. So I have -2 oxygen. I have -2 oxygen. How many oxygen atoms? 2. Right? And according to our rule number 6,
Equals 0.
sum of oxidation states should be 0. Do you get the point? Now I can find out the oxidation number of carbon as this is -4 equals 0. Therefore, your X is equal +4. And this is how you find the oxidation state of an unknown one using the rule number 6. Okay? Is that clear? Yeah.
So then their carbon's oxidation state is +4. Then for oxygen it's -2.
-2. ඒක අපි දැන ඒක කලින්ම දන්න ඕනේ rules වලින්. Now let's say carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbon known or unknown, carbon known or unknown. Unknown, it's not in our rules. But what we know,
-2.
-2 into 1 is equal to 0. So then X is going to be, this is -2, 0. Okay, X is equal to +2. Therefore, in carbon monoxide, carbon's oxidation state is
+2.
+2. That tells you okay, only 2 electrons have been lost by carbon, not ionically, but it's a covalent bond. But oxygen must have dragged the 2 electrons towards it. Is that clear? Right? And some idea about the chemical state. Okay, right. Then the I'll do one more example to get better idea of this. Let's take transition element vanadium oxide. This is a transition. Okay, right? Now I want to find out vanadium. Help me.
2.
So vanadium is X, but there are 2 vanadium, so it's 2X plus -1 -2 into 3 is equal to 0. Then 2X -6 equals to 0. And X is equal to +6 divided by, sorry, 2. The answer is +3. That's it. Use of the rule number 6. Right, let me show you the use of rule number 7. Right, we will start with an example itself. For example, let's say, let me take nitrate ion. This is nitrate ion. We'll take known things in our syllabus so that it's easy for you. For example, let me take sulfate ion. Right? What is the sulfate ion? SO4 2 දැන් හරි වෙන කෙලින් ඉඳ ගන්න නැසඳ පුටුව අදින්න ඕනේ. කෙලින් ඉඳ ගන්න පුටුව අදින්න ඕනේ. Right? Okay. Sulfur valency we don't know. X plus oxygen -2 into 4. Now the addition is not equal to 0. It is equal to charge of the ion. What's the charge of the ion? -2. So now it's equal to -2. Now you can work on X. Right? So sometimes it's a little difficult for you guys with the maths. Right? එතන තමයි issue එක එන්නේ දැන් ඊළඟට. -2 plus 8. Therefore the answer is +6. So sulfur's oxidation in sulfate is +6. But if you try to figure out in sulfite, it's going to be different. How? Let's do this. Help me. X plus -2 into 3. Then oxygen -2 ne rule right is equal to -2. Therefore x minus 6 is equal minus 2. X is equal minus 2 plus 6. Therefore, it is plus 4. That's the difference between sulfate and sulfide. Right? They are in two different chemical states. Is that clear? Clear. Rule number 6 and 7. මෙතුක ඔයා මට වීඩියෝ එක දාන්න නැති රීසන් එක මෙන්ෂන් කරේ නෑ.
So, things we write the charges and we go in both are plus or minus. We get the mark for
Please ask the question again.
let's say the question. Here we write just two. Correct. Writing
Oxidation number, you must give the sign. Otherwise, there is no meaning. No, it's again like the valence. There's no meaning. All right. The next page. Online students, please give me the feedback on the final slide. Parents are messaging them about classing in person. Right. Turn next page. You have a lot of questions there, right? Don't you? Okay, we are behind the schedule. Hurry up. You have to find the oxidation state of all these elements.
So how much time will we get?
10 minutes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you put to the before slide for a minute to take a screenshot?
I gave
Because, sir, I can't see the screenshot.
Who is this? Metu?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
sorry, Metu.
Yes, sir.
Why can't you see the screenshots?
Sir, I think it's a network problem.
One minute, let me double check. The screenshot has gone. Oh, no, अंतिम screenshot එක ඇවිල්ලා නැහැ මෙතන. Hurry up, hurry up.
So I took a screenshot.
Oh, sure, like a bar. The bolded letter is the one that you have to find. Right in a compound. Minus 2, minus 2. Hydrogen peroxide වගේ කෙනෙක් කිව්ව peroxide කියලා කිව්වොත් විතරයි නැත්තේ. නැත්තම් issue එකක් නැහැ.
How much time do we have here?
තව දෙන්නම් 6 minutes විතර. 7 minutes. I'll help you if you don't understand. Don't worry. තේරුම් නැති දේ තියෙනවා නම් කියන්න. කියලා දෙන්නම්.
Sir.
The oxygen element එක නෙමෙයි මේ compound එක. Compound එකේ oxygen here. Minus 2 into 2 is equal to then it's fine. මේකේ potassium hydride වල hydrogen නම් එකපාරට කියන්න පුළුවන් -1 කියලා. From the rule, or you can even derive. Okay. Hydrogen peroxide, देखिए होया नहीं होगा. I have given hydrogen peroxide. That's one. Oxygen has to be found. Hydrogen is no.
Sir.
Hydrogen peroxide
Plus.
The ninth one. Mom, can you get
Yeah, Ranumi.
Sir, did you send the questions on the chat?
Yeah, no. What happened was there was a network problem. Let me quickly settle it.
Okay.
Now it's in the chat. Due to the power cut, I think small issue happened. 3 more minutes. All right, so let's check the answers. I'm going to give you the answers now. You guys can see that. Answer for magnesium is 0, bromine is 0, sulfur is 0. Right? Why? They all are in the element form. They are not bonded to anything else. Right? That's what you need to understand. Right? And potassium, hydrogen, actually, you don't have to do any calculation here. You can say -1 because it's attached to potassium. It's non-metal. Right? Okay. And sulfur dioxide, sulfur is X. Oxygen, we don't know, -2 into 2 is equal 0. X is +4. I'm not going to do the maths part here, right? And Fe, we don't know, X, iron, oxygen is -2, 0. So then X is +2. And Fe2O3, it's 2X is equal plus -2 into 3 is equal 0. Therefore, X has to be +3. Right? Let me write it a little clearer. 2X plus -2 into 3. Right? Can be free. Copper 1 oxide. Here it's 2X plus -2 is equal 0. So then the X is going to be +1. Right? Okay. All right, Lama. How did we write the name of this?
-1.
Make a number iron 3 oxide. We wrote the name of this as iron 3 oxide. Listen to me. Iron 3 oxide. Right? Hey, look at the May 3. Those days we said valency, but actually it is what? The oxidation state. Right? It is written for transition elements because oxidation states are very variable of them. So this fellow is copper 1 oxide. This is copper 1 oxide. Normally copper has 2, but it can have 1 as well. Right?
Transition elements, variable valency.
You're asking whether they have it or more. So the first statement about transition, isn't it?
Say the oxidation number valency of
Okay. You can say variable valence is variable oxidation states. Right. Okay. Hydrogen peroxide, of course, right? Hydrogen is minus, oxygen is -1. You can prove like this. Hydrogen is +1 into 2 plus 2x is equal 0. So x you will become minus. Right? X is minus. Right? Any problem? Then oxygen is -1. Hydrogen peroxide oxygen -1. Here we have KMNO4. This is very special. I'll tell you why. මෙයාගේ නම අපි අර ෆෝමියුලා ලෙසන් එකේදී ලියනකොට ලිව්වා පොටෑසියම් මැංගනේට් 7 කියලා. කියලා ඊට පස්සේ මම ඕගලන්ට කිව්වා don't ask me why it is 7 at that day, right? I tell you on a future day I will let you know, and that's the day, right? How? Yes, not the valency. X minus 2 into 4 is equal to 0. Therefore, X is +7. ඔන්නෝක තමයි ළමයි oxidation state එක. ඒකින්ද අපි මොනවාරි කියනකොට ඒකට plus කරනවා. believe, right? බොරුවට නෙමෙයි කියන්නේ. Right? We will keep our promise. That's what was. You have to stop this, right? It's a part of discipline, right? It's a part of discipline. Okay, right, listen. Potassium dichromate. Actually, we call this potassium dichromate 6. And you are wondering, having 7 oxygen atoms, right? Having 7 oxygen atoms. Why it is 6? The reason is this: potassium is +1 into 2, and chromium is 2x plus -2 into 7 is equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to +6, right? X is equal to +6, right? That's potassium dichromate. And then the sodium chlorate, Cl is +5. Let me give you the answers now quickly. Sulfite ion we did a few minutes ago. Sulfur is +4, right? Sulfite ion. And sulfate ion, sulfur is +6. We did it a few minutes ago, right? And manganate ion, it's a similar calculation, going to be x plus -2 into 4, but equal to -1, not 0. Therefore, x is still what? +7. That's why it's called manganate 7 ion, right? And CO32 minus, CO32 minus, carbon is x, -2 into 3 is equal -2, x is equal +4. That's your carbonate ion, right? And IO4 minus, IO, okay, x, right? X plus -2 into 4 is equal -1. So IO4 is what? +7. Iodine is +7. Okay, one second. Put them into the monitor. Right? And nitric nitrogen is +5, this nitrogen is +3, this manganese is +4. You can do it. +4. Right? +5, +3, +4. Any argument? 18, did I miss? 19 +5. Okay, that is +1 plus x plus -2 into 3 is equal 0. Right? So it became x minus 5 is equal to 0. Right? Now let me see. Out of 20, how many marks you got?
So I got 20.
තමන් කරපු ටික කියන්නකො.
Sir,
තමන් කරපු ටිකෙන් හරි ගිය ටික කියන්න.
sir, මම ජනිලගේ 10th එක යනවා අනිත් කොටි.
තමන්
නෑ සර් මෙතඩ් එක විතර
තමන්ගේ හරි ටික කියන්න. I didn't ask any justification here. 19. මේ මෙහෙම ලියාගෙන හරියද මේක හදන්න ඕනේ right? Okay. homework කරන්න ඕනේ. homework දෙයක් හරියට හදන්න ඕනේ. මෙසද කියා හරි කියන්න. 19 හරි කියන්න. Super. Right? මන්ති දෙස්යෙන් පස්සේ පොඩ වෙනස් වෙනවා වගේ. හරිද? වැඩේ කියන්නේ ඔය ටෙම්පරරි ඉන්නේ ඒකනේ කිව්ස්. සතියක් විතර යනකොට එන්නවා ආපහු උඩට. හරිද? කමන්නේ but I have to appreciate that your improvement. Right? That's the case. When the focus is there, the potential goes up. When the focus is everywhere, the potential goes down. Right? It's common any place in this world. Right, let's go. Redox reaction means for online අය ආපු කිසිම response එකක් නැහැ. chat එකේවත් දාන්න නැහැ කීයක් හරි ගියාද කියලා මට කිව්වෙත් නැහැ තාම. Right? Oh, නිකන් common sense වලින් කියන්න මොකද්ද මේකේ තේරුම? Redox reaction means when redox නෙමෙයි. ඒක දෙකට බෙදුවානේ.
reduction.
Reduction and oxidation happen simultaneously in a reaction. It is called a redox reaction. The red is reduction, ox is oxidation.
So is it redox or redux?
Yeah.
So reduction.
Yeah, we do පටන් ගන්න එපා please. හරිද? මම මෙතන ටයිම් එක වැදගත්. මොකක් හරි කිව්වට පස්සේ ඒක පිළිගන්න ගන්න පිළිගන්න නැත්නම් කතාව වෙනවා. Reduction and oxidation happens simultaneously. All right, so let's go to the because now on your lessons are very time-bound lessons. Okay, time-bound lessons. ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට නාස්ති කරන්න වෙලාවක් නැහැ. Relax එකේ හැරි වගේ ඉන්න බෑ. හරිද? All right, let's move on. Now, as I told you, redox means oxidation and reduction processes happen. Simultaneously. ඉස්සර වගේ නෑ දැන්. මොකද? Right? Both processes happen in one reaction. Right? So, but what we have to do now, we have to understand this oxidation and reduction in terms of definition. Right? Then another. Right. In order to do that, I'm going to take few examples. Right? From that example, we will discuss. By the way, I forgot to take a screenshot of this number. Have you seen something like this floating in the sea?
Yes.
It's a
Orange color. Something like
No. These producing oil. What do you call it? What do you call it?
So oil factory.
Huh?
Oil factory.
Oil? Oil rig. You call it oil rig. Right? Oil. ring. Right? Oxidation is losing electrons. මොකද? දැනට දාගන්න මම.
Sir,
Wait.
reduction is gaining.
Reduction. Yeah, what do you say?
Gaining electrons.
Gaining electrons. Definitions they got clearly right. In terms of electrons, oxidation is what? Losing electrons is an oxidation. Reduction in terms of electrons, what? Gaining electrons. Oxidation is loss of electrons.
So what should we write in the oxygen one?
කියන දේ කරන්නකො. Reduction is gain of electrons. Oil rig එක දැනගන්න පැත්තකින්. That's the one gave you the all right. Oxidation is loss of electrons. Reduction is gain of electrons. So let me take a simple example for you to understand this. We have been learning this reaction since bonding. Sodium and chlorine react to give sodium chloride. Right? In this process, you know that sodium gave an electron out and became sodium plus, didn't it? Tell me, is this oxidation or reduction?
Reduction. No, gaining oxygen. Yeah.
Online lamai. Sodium becomes sodium plus and
Oxidation.
electron is lost. What is that?
Oxidation.
Current definition we follow oxidation. So when you see a reaction like this, clearly shown that electron is given out, it is oxidation. හැබැයි ළමයි හැමතිස්සෙම reactions මෙහෙම දෙන්නේ නැහැ. They don't show the electrons. They give you this. So you have to visualize. Sodium is a metal. It gives electrons to chlorine. So sodium is losing the electron. Chlorine is what? Gaining the electron. So here chlorine gains an electron. Let me write like Cl2, 2Cl. Gaining electrons and becoming 2Cl minus. Reduction. You get it? You get it? Right. Have a look at the oxidation numbers. Right. Let the flow of the class move properly. Okay. So here, sodium's oxidation number. Oxidation number kya? Sodium oxidation number. Come on. It's in element form. So 0. Method 0. Method මොනවන්ද? ඉතන පේන එක negative 1 කියනවා. Are you like opposition leader? Right? as දෙකන පේන එක බොරු කියන්නේ. Right? Okay. Right. What is that? +1. Right? එමනේ තමයි අන්ත opposition. Percent. We'll talk about those useless stuff. Let's talk about this. Right? 0 has become +1. So what has happened to the oxidation number? Oxidation number. What has happened to the oxidation number?
Increased.
Oxidation number has increased by 1. And another definition for oxidation. What will happen to the oxidation number?
Increase.
Oxidation number increase. In oxidation process, oxidation number increases.
So then
Number increases. Yes.
in the covalent bonding, so then
Covalent bonding කියලා ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ නේ. compound එකක් නේ. අපිට පුළුවන් නේ දැන් oxidation number එක හොයන්න. හොයලා මට කියන්න. All right. And then chlorine is becoming Cl minus. තාම නෑ ඉවර මම තාම ඉවර නෑ බලන්න. Chlorine is becoming Cl minus from 0. මේ මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ oxidation number එකට?
Decrease.
Decreases -1 වෙනවා කියන අඩු වෙනවා ළමයි.
Reduction.
Oxidation number, right, has decreased. Therefore you call it what? Reduction. එහෙනම් oxidation number එකෙන් කොහොමද reduction define කරන්නේ? Oxidation number has decreased. Is that clear? Right? So then all are interconnected. හරිද? එකක් හැම එකක්ම ඕන. So then here oxidation number has decreased. So show that working also. Oxidation number की working එක පෙන්නන්න. Oxidation number की working එක පෙන්නන්න. මම කරන්නේ. දැන් ලියන්න.
yeah, depends. So I can add. Depends.
Right? Okay. So let's move on. Your net number, you need more time.
Number is a
All right. Now I taught you this in a very simple manner. All right. You can't forget this. Is that clear? But I didn't define it in terms of what? Oxygen. But I did start from that because these two are harder than oxygen. But now the harder one became very easy thanks to the oil rig, right? So these mnemonics are useful mnemonics. Not like the mnemonics that you use in your grade 8, 7, remembering the periodic table. නේද? අර hydrogen helium එකකට මොකක්ද මතක තියාගත්තේ නේද? ආයු ගම්‍යාචික මොකක්ද? Right? ඒවා වැඩක් නෑ නම. But these really matters. මේක ගොඩක් problem solve කරනවා. ලොකුම problem එක තමයි these oxidation losing electrons or gaining electrons. ඕක තමයි ලොකු problem එක. එකක් දැනගත්තොත් අනිත් එක sure නේ. oil rig එකේ මතක තියාගන්න. හැබැයි I focused on electrons. Is that clear? So oil rig is dealing with electrons, right? It's dealing with electrons. Okay. But dealing with oxygen, it's like this. Oxidation, by the word itself, oxidation is like gaining or losing oxygen. Gain, oxidize. වචනේ වලින් බලන්න අල්ලගන්න වැඩි rather by heart. So then in terms of oxygen atoms, Oxidation is what?
Oxidation is increased. Number of
Oxidation is
oxygen
is gaining oxygen atoms. Gaining oxygen atoms. Right? Example එකක් පෙන්වන්න මේ බලන්න. Magnesium reacting with oxygen. So what has happened to magnesium? What has happened to magnesium? It has got oxygen. So magnesium has got what?
oxidized.
Oxidized. Remember, I'll be using always the passive tense for this oxidation and reduction. I will say magnesium gets oxidized. Right? I'll be always using like that. You also get used to that. Right? Magnesium gets, never say magnesium oxidizes. When you say that, then it becomes the verb of magnesium. Then it is oxidizing something else. You get my point? Right? Be careful in this, okay? So magnesium gets oxidized in this case. Why? Right? Magnesium is gaining oxygen atoms. All right. So let me write another reaction. Zinc oxide plus carbon. Okay, let me write over there. That will be much better. Just for the time being, I will give one example to that. Wait, oxygen. Then in terms of reduction, oxygen, what is reduction? Reduction is very good, very good. Reduction is losing of oxygen atoms. Losing of oxygen atoms. All right. Okay. Now let me show you example for that as well. When I heat silver oxide strongly, I get silver and oxygen gas. What has happened to silver in silver oxide? Yeah.
Reduction.
What has happened to silver? Silver has got reduced. It has lost oxygen atoms. Is that clear? Sorry? Oxygen and the explain by oxygen. That's why we are having how many definitions? 3 definitions. හරි නේද? Okay, so let me know from the online students also whether you understood the concept of oxidation and reduction separately. All right. So out of these examples, what do you think? Which one is the most accurate and convincing one? Is it oxygen change or number of electron change or oxidation number change? Oxidation number change. මොකක්ද දන්නවද? සමහර reactions වල oxygen නැහැ. සමහර reactions වල electrons යනවා දෙනවාද කියලා පේන්නේ නැහැ. But for sure you can check the oxidation number because you know it. You get my point? right? You know it. So let's do a common example. Carefully. Maybe at the beginning it is hard. That's pretty normal. Is that clear? Right. So stop your work and listen to me. Because online students la feedback එක දීලා නැහැ නේ. අර screenshot එකට තේරුණාද නැද්ද කියලා.
Understand.
Right. Next one. තමයි මේ ගන්න එපා මේ lightly online ආවා කියලා. Balala, I'm going to take a decision, right? I'll be talking to some of your parents today also in the evening. Right. Let's have a look at this reaction. When the reaction. Then what කියන්න ඕගොල්ලෝ මේක දිහා බැලුවම is it a redox reaction or not?
So it's an
Is it a redox reaction or not? Is it a redox reaction or not? Remember, if there is a reduction, there is an oxidation. They can't be separated. Right? මෙහෙන් ඉලෙක්ට්‍රෝන එක දෙනවනම් තව එක්කෙනෙක් ඉලෙක්ට්‍රෝන එක ගන්න ඕනේ. No. Raise your hand. That's all right. වරදුනාට කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. පන්ති අපිනේ ඔක්කොම. We are not perfect. Right? Redox reaction එකක්ද දැන්? Online students give your answer in the chat. Chat එකේ දාන්න answer එක. Chat එකේ දාන්න අත උසන් ඉන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. Right? Is it redox or not? It is not redox reaction. ඔන්න මම පෙන්නන්න දෙන්නේ ඔයගලන්ට ආගිය. හරිද? බලා ගන්න පොත. Zinc has oxygen. And zinc oxide has become zinc. Isn't this loss of oxygen? Isn't this loss of oxygen? What is loss of oxygen?
Sir,
Reduction, right? Yeah.
but carbon monoxide doesn't get paid.
හරි ඒක පැත්තකින් තියන්නකො zinc මම කියන එක focus කරන්න. Has it loss of oxygen?
reduction.
So then you have reduction here. You have reduction. Has a carbon monoxide gain oxygen?
Yes, oxidation.
Gain of oxygen. So this is හරි මොකක්ද ඒ process එක? That is oxidation process. So then the overall reaction is what? Redox reaction.
Both are
Overall reaction. That's why we wrote here. Look at this. What is redox? What is redox? Reduction and oxidation happen simultaneously. Then the reaction is called redox reaction. Right? Okay, so let's go back. Now that is in terms of oxygen. Let me explain you in terms of oxidation numbers. ලියන්න එපා අහගන්න. ලියන්න time තියෙන ඕන තරම්. අහගන්න ඉස්සර. Oxygen is -2. Then can you guess what is zinc? X plus -2 is equal 0. So then it should be what? +2. වැඩන්නේ තාම ඉතින් sign එක නැතුව කියනවනේ. Sign එකත් එක sign එක නැතුව oxidation number එකේ තේරුමක් නැහැ. It's +2. What is zinc oxidation state here? In the product, zinc oxidation state is uncombined. Then what is it? 0. Tell me what has happened to the oxidation state of zinc.
has oxidized.
Oxidation state එකට වෙලා තියෙන දේ කියන්නේ. Oxidation number has reduced. එහෙනම් තමයි මොකක්ද ඒකට කියන්නේ? Reduction. දැක්කද? You can explain in terms of oxygen or you can explain in terms of oxidation number. Right? Alright. So here oxygen is -2, carbon is +2, of course. Right? Here the oxygen is -2, carbon එක කීයද? හරි අමාරුන හදලා බලන්න x plus minus 2 into 2 is equal 0 x minus 4 is equal to 0 x is equal to plus 4 හදන්න ඒක ඉගෙන ගන්න right so this is plus 4 what has happened to carbon then carbon's oxidation number has increased
Oxidation.
then it is oxidation short right හරි මේකත් ලියාගන්න example එකක් විතර ඔය පිටුවේම ඔය page එකේම කොයි හරි තැනක ලියාගන්න මේක somewhere where or write on a different page and paste it over there yeah
In percent, carbon monoxide in carbon dioxide, but then the oxygen values will see
oxygen is
oxygen.
yeah oxygen तो මොකද කරන්නේ nothing has happened to oxygen
Even if it increase and if it's same means still for oxidation.
if it is increased there is an atom increase in the oxidation number right then you can use the loss of oxygen or gain of oxygen to explain it, or you can use the oxidation number to explain it. අරගොල්ලන්ට ආපු ගන්න course හරි course අරගෙන බලවත් කරන්න මේ ආවියන් මේ I think they are the Sunday
Yes, sir.
how do you Sunday the අම්මා ඒ කියන්නේ අම්මට මට call එක දෙන්න කියලා class එක යන්න මොකක්ද reason එක කියලා හරි reason එක ගත්තොත් reason එකක් ගන්න reason එක නැත්තම් මට call කරන්න කියන විදිහට පේනවා
So, another company, this way, rather company, any
ඒක වර්ධන check කරලා බලන්න බෑ
Sir,
නෑ නෑ දේහන්ස ඊ ආලා තිබ්බ මම yes කියලා දාලා තිබ්බා දැන් තියෙනවා ඒක
sir, they consider this day as a celebration.
celebrate after the exam right after O level exam you celebrate you can really celebrate actually නෑ O level වල පොඩ්ඩක් හරි පුරවන්නේ නැතු කි like you can stop certain right because the ඔයා කිව්ව කතාව ඇත්තක් තියෙනවනේ නේද කියනවා දැන් මේ O level කරන ළමයි ඉන්නවනේ they will be done by June maybe 10 and then June 20 is pre-level stuff. Yes, yes. They are starting pre-levels. Huh? නෑ June pre-level පටන් ගන්න June 3rd week.
Then when is A-level? Next week.
They are going to have A-level in 2024. They are in 2022, 1.5 year course. And then you are done with A-level by like 17, 18, you are done with A-level. Good no?
Obviously good. It should be good. It is good, sir.
It is good.
Now it's not working.
That's what we do in life, right? ඉතින් ඒකට ඕගොල්ලෝ බොරුවට ඉන්ටර්නෙට් ඉන්න ටයිම් අයින් කරලා සෙල්ලම් කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙලාවට. තේරෙනවද? ඉන්ටර්නෙට් ඉන්න ටයිම් ගේම් එකක වීඩියෝ ගේම් එකක ඉන්න ටයිම් අයින් කරලා. Instagram Snapchat ඒ වල ඉන්න ටයිම් අයින් කරලා මේ ළමයි වෙලා ළමයි එක්ක සෙල්ලම් කරනවා. එතකොට හරි. ඊට පස්සේ ඉවරෙන්නේ රස්සාව කරන්න රස්සාව කළාට පස්සේ ඉවරෙන්නේ කහාද බදිනවා කහාද බදිනවා ළමයි හම්බෙනවා ළමයිව බලා ගන්න තියෙනවා ඒත් ඉවරයක් නැහැ ආච්චිලා සීයලා උනාම ළමයි බලා ගන්න තියෙනවා so till the death there is no end right therefore balance your life that's what you have to do right balance your life balance කරගෙන යා දාලි වෙන්න ඩිප්‍රෙස් කරගෙන යන්න ලයිෆ්
එතකොට මේක redox reaction.
is a redox reaction
So every single reaction is redox, no?
එහෙම කියන්න බෑ let me show you an example okay මොම බෑ එහෙම වුණා ක්ලාස් එක කරන්න ඉන්න පහම වෙනකම් වත් නැත්නම් කරන්න ඉවර කරන්න බෑ වැඩේ.
හරි සර්.
All right. Okay.
So
So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go for this page, right? And here you have 8 examples. Then karanne pa homework. Just simply you have to tell me whether it's redox. Sometimes I have given part of the reaction, maybe it's only oxidation or reduction. So you just say whether it's reduction, right? Only oxidation or both are there. Is that clear? Right. Let me show you the first one. This exercise going to be even you have understood this lesson. This could be challenging. That is very normal. Right? Because you are learning some A-level stuff. That when we did our A-level and O-levels, we did oxidation number in A-level. Right? Yes. Yes, advanced the mobile memory device we use is the floppy disk. The floppy disk only can bear 1.44 megabytes. Right? Mobile data travel. Data travel, like you have like several GBs, like 1.44 megabytes. Okay, the Pac-Man game mega yokkoma දාගෙන යන්නේ sir. සෙල්ලම් කරලා. Right? ඒ වගේ ඒව ඇඩ්වාන්ස් වෙනවා නම් මේවත් ඇඩ්වාන්ස් වෙන්නේ MB. MB. Imagine. Right? All right. Let's come back here. Right. Okay. Right. Sodium bromide here, sodium oxidation state is 0. Bromine oxidation state is 0 elements. Here sodium oxidation state is +1. This is -1. Sodium has got එතන දෙකයි oxidation ද මොකද ඒ හරි okay හරි මේ oxygen has got sodium has got confidence huh නෑ මේ oxidation number එක දිහා බලලා කියන්නකෝ oxidation ද reduction
oxidation number is
increase therefore it's a
oxidation.
මේ part එක oxidation oxygen sodium ගේ part එක oxidation. What about bromine?
Reduction.
Yeah, oxidation නම් අරයා මොකද්ද reduction දෙවියනේ දෙන්නයි ඉන්නේ
There can't be two.
really but you must have another reduction also. Oxidation දෙකකුයි reduction එකකුයි තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි oxidation දෙකක් විතරක් තියෙන්න බෑ. That is not happening in the universe. Right? Okay. තේරුණාද? ආයිත් මේක බලනවා oxidation නම් බලනවා oxidation activity well that's it. But when it comes to something like this, you don't have to bother about oxidation state. You can clearly see transfer of what? Oxygen. You can say this one has got oxidized, this one has got reduced. Therefore, it's a redox reaction. Right? බලන්න ටිකක්. හරිද? So homework. This is homework. The must homework. Please කරන්න. ඒක අමාරුයි මේ lesson එක දාලා තියෙන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ mind එකට. Right? Methodically හදලා තියෙන tutorial එක. Right? So you are going to get the benefit of it.
Sir, we should write the answer as oxidation and reduction.
Yeah, you have to just give the reason also. Oxidation number increase. Therefore, it's what? Oxidation. Make a reduction. Make in the main reaction. Redox. තේරෙනවද කරන්න ඕනේ කියන්නේ? හරි. ඊළඟ page එකට යමු. page එකට යමු. හරි මේ page එක කියවන්න එපා පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්න. ඔයගොල්ලෝ බලන්න අයියෝ එකම එක තියෙන්නේ. ආපු chlorine it's simple. හරි simple නම් මේ lesson. හරි. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඉඳන් මෙහෙම බිනුක් කොමද යන්නේ මොකද වෙන්නේ කියන්නේ.
රසයෙන්.
රසයෙන් නොත් ගන්න හැමදාම.
එනවා.
අපි ගමු lesson.
යනවා ගන්න.
ආසෙන ඔන්න ගමු. හරිද? හරි අපි ගමු කාවද ගන්න. lesson එක තරම් තියෙනවා නේද? දෙවිදුයි. සෙනෝනි හරිද? අපි හිතමු සෙනෝන් මොනවද ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් ටිකට් ගන්න එක කරන්නේ. හරිද? Xenon one day is going to become good person. You got the point. Again, he is going to become an insurance agent. How they name? Insurance agent. Right? Devindu is the client. Right? Devindu is the client. Then Shannon is going to insure which person? Will be insured by Shannon. Client. How the client? No. Devindu will get insured by Shannon. How the Shannon? Insurance agent. Insure. Une how the Devin. How the Devin? Client who gets the insurance. Right? Who insured him? Who is insurance agent? Normally, insurance agent අනිත් එක්කෙනාව insure කරන්නේ. තේරුණාද? Insurance agent is insuring the other one. You get it? All right, back here. Now, the target will be sodium oxidation state. Yep. Sodium oxidation state. No, combine to a zero. Chlorine oxidation state? Zero. Oxidation state of sodium in sodium chloride? +1. And chlorine? -1. What is the change of oxidation number of sodium from 0 to +1? The sodium gets reduced or oxidized? It gets oxidized. Then sodium gets oxidized. They are oxidized. So air in the sodium in the, because of sodium, who's going to get reduced? Chlorine. Is that clear? Therefore, can I say sodium gets oxidized himself and reducing the other? Therefore, sodium is what? Is the reducing agent. Pattern pattern හැම වෙලාවකම mind එකකින් යන්න ඕනේ මොන example එකද? Right? Okay. Sodium gets oxidized means they are oxidized. අනිත් එක්කෙනා මොකද වෙන්නේ? Reducer. Therefore, sodium should be called reducing agent. They are oxidized වෙනවනේ, they are oxidizing agent කියන්න බෑ. හරිද? We are defining it according to what it does to the others. Right? So then sodium acting as oxidizing or reducing agent because it is reducing the other fellow. It gets oxidized and reducing it. Therefore, it's the reducing agent. So does sodium remove again electrons? Is its own electrons gain? It's a metal. Sorry. It loses electrons. It removes its electrons. So then it removes electrons. Right? It removes electrons. So that means reducing agent is the one what? Removing its electrons. So then the other fellow can get. Yeah. Right? Therefore, reducing agent is reducing the other fellow. Himself getting what? Oxidized. Is that clear? When you make complete this statement by filling, I couldn't put the words fully, right? Let's say the reducing agent is the reactant which does what to the other? Reduce the other reactant and itself gets oxidized. Right? Since reducing agent gets oxidized, it removes electrons and the oxidation number it gets oxidized, huh? Increases oxidation now. Then filter. Right? carefully fill කරන්න ඕන එක තමයි. කරන්න. ටට් කරන්න.
Generate a problem we get a question like this.
මේවා past paper questions නෙමෙයි.
So
Janika, these are what? Learning the lesson. But these are activities. This will develop your thinking. දැන් හිතන්නකො මේ notes ටික ඔක්කොම පොතේ ලියලා කරන්න ගියා නම් පුළුවන් ද අද දවසේ කරන්න මේ ටික.
the torture.
හා?
The torture.
So we should do the 6 question out.
Then you have to do the all 10 questions.
The fifth question is like this.
Very nice. හදිස්සි වෙන්න බෑ නේද? ඩබල් චෙක් කරන්න. Online students, please collect your hard copy of this tutorial from the class at any time. I mean, after 3 on weekdays, any time before 8 p.m. also, right? And or you can put a courier service team, receive and send, receive එකක් අරගෙන ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගෙන්න. හරි. workbook එක මම මේ PDF එක දෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right, listen then. Read me the answers.
1 0 to -1.
0 to -1, good. Reduce, good. Oxidizing agent, very good. When itself getting reduced, it has to be the oxidizing agent because it's oxidizing the other fellow, right? Does chlorine gain or remove electrons? It gains. Therefore, you can say oxidizing agent is a reaction which that oxidizes the other reactant and itself gets reduced. Itself gets reduced. Since oxidizing agent gets reduced, very good. It gains electrons. Ah, nice. Decrease or reduce or decrease is better. Nice, very nice. Decrease its oxidation. Sorry. Oh, you are a banana. Right, now we are going to see common reducing agents, a common oxidizing agent and a reducing agent in the laboratory. Right? Suppose we don't know a particular substance, whether it is an oxidizing agent or reducing agent. For example, let's say people have used some kind of a preservative in a food known to be a reducing agent, right? අපි බලන්න අපිට ඕනේ මේ ෆුඩ් එකට මේ ප්‍රිසර්වේටිව් එක දාලාද මේගොල්ලෝ මේ reducing agent එක දාලාද, right? So what is the plan? We don't know whether the food, let's say a drink, right, whether this has a reducing agent or not. We don't know මේකේ reducing agent එකක් ඉන්නවද නැද්ද කියලා. එහෙම හිටියොත් ඒක බොන්න හොඳ නැහැ. Not good, right? But they put as a preservatives. So we want to test that in the laboratory. So what I'm going to do, if I want to test whether this is a reducing agent, I have to react this with what? Oxidizing agent. But that oxidizing agent must be something that we know. Because අපි දන්නවනේ oxidizing agent එක කියලා. So that oxidizing agent in the laboratory is potassium manganate 7, acidified potassium manganate 7, which is intense violet in color. Intense violet in color, right? Let's do it. Okay, intense violet in color. So this is your Caminophore. But this is also found in household substance called condis. Condis කියලා තියෙන්නේ. ඇයි දන්නේ නැත. ගිහලා අහනවා අම්මගේ. අම්ම කියලා දෙයි. ඇයි දොස්තරලා මේ තුවාල හොදන්නේ condis වලින්. Not the betadine one. That's the. Okay. So it's Caminophore. Now the point is, if the substance now make unknown, this is unknown. If this substance is a reducing agent, this Caminophore is an oxidizing agent. It has to react. Then අපි react වෙනවා කියන්නේ අපි බලමු. If it reacts, will the violet color remain? No. Or will it change? Changes. React when නැත්නම් it will remain as violet or as pale pink. I think. අලෙන් කොට අඩු වෙනක් වල dilute වෙනවා. හරි. මේක ලියාගන්න solution A කියලා. Solution A. ඒක side එකේ පල්ලෙන් හරි කොහෙන් හරි ලියාගන්න solution A. Observation එක ලියාගන්න solution A with KMNO4. Answer again ලියාගත්තත් කමන්න. Okay, so I'm going to put this solution. Online students, I'm really sorry if you can't see it properly, but I'll try my best. Right? ඔන්න බලන්න මම දානවා solution එක. What happened? The color changed, right? So that you don't see the violet color. You don't see the violet color. That means this unknown compound is what? It is a reducing agent. Because KMNO4 is a well-known oxidizing agent. එහෙනම් ඔයාලට ඒව decide කරන්න පුළුවන් මොකක් කියලාද? It's a reducing agent. Unknown, but ඒ කියන්නේ මේක බොන්න ඕද නැහැ. Right?
So sir, we can just acidified.
නෑ මේක දන්නේ නැහැ. අපි unknown මේකට දාලා බලමු. Right. This is solution B. අපි solution B ටත් දාලා බලනවා KMNO4. We are going to put KMNO4 solution B. What happens? Nice observation. See? Does it remain? No, they move. Color changes. B කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Reducing agent. Right. The next one. C. Solution C. බලන්න. What happens? Actually, the color is slightly different, but violet color no longer remains. So, is he reducing agent? Yes. React කරන්නේ KMNO4 එක්ක. Right? Okay. මේකත් බලමු මේකට දාලා බලමු. The solution D. D ට දාලා බලමු KMNO4. ඒ කියන්නේ නෑ. What make an මොකද කියන්න බෑ. What කියන්න බෑ මොකද? There is no reaction. That's all you can say. So your solution D. Solution D, you can say it is not a reducing agent. It reduces the කියන්න බෑ what? එයා react කරන්නේ. It doesn't react. හරිද? Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. And let me try out last one. Solution E. What do you think? Then No, एक react करना है, मुझे तो react करना है कि नहीं? This is not actually the color has changed. It already had what? Yellow and purple has given kind of orange color. So no reaction. Is that clear? So that means your solution B is not E is not a reducing agent. Then there are another
Yes.
then there are the use of known came right. Right. And then potassium iodide. Now suppose we have a solution, a sample we suspect, and this sample we suspect to have an oxidizing agent. අපි හිතමු අපේ food එකට කවුරු හරි දාලා තියෙනවා preservative එකක් විදිහට oxidizing agent. That is also not good. We want to check whether you have an oxidizing agent in the solution. If that's so, what you have to use? To check it, what is it? To check it, what you have to use? Oxidizing agent එක check කරන්න නම් ඔය use කරන්න ඕනේ මොකද? Oxidizing agent එක check කරන්න පුළුවන් oxidizing agent එක පාවිච්චි කරලා. Reducing agent එක. Here is the common reducing agent we have in the laboratory. What is this? Potassium iodide. දෙන්නම potassium. AMNO4 is our non-oxidizing agent. Potassium iodide is the non-reducing agent. We'll quickly check, right? We'll quickly check whether AI is colorless, right? Potassium iodide. What is the color? Colorless. Now what are we going to do? We are going to add this into again solution AB. Then out of solution A, B, C, D, E, we found A, C, D. Sorry, A, B, C are reducing agents because they reacted with our non-oxidizing agent, right? Now we are going to add our reducing agent into that. The reducing agent initial color colorless. Technically, if it is going to react with an oxidizing agent unknown, it should give you a yellowish or brownish color. Can you guess why? Potassium iodide is going to give you what? Iodine, right? Solution A. Solution A is very strange solution. Huh? You will see later why. Oh, not strange at all. Right, okay. So do you have a color change? Solution A. Colorless, colorless. Colorless, colorless. So no reaction.
It's a reload.
No reaction. Yeah. Colorless, colorless. This is not an oxidizing agent. Earlier we proved it is a reducing agent, and now we are proving this is not an oxidizing agent. Solution B. Solution B. What happened? The color changed from colorless to yellow. That means actually this is the same one, right? We proved it was a reducing agent in the previous experiment. Now we are proving it is an oxidizing agent as well. That means there are some substances which can behave as what? Both. Wonderful one, right? Okay, solution C. Right. Solution C. Let's try. No reaction. Solution C with potassium iodide, no reaction. So you are going to say your solution C is not an oxidizing agent. And solution D, no reaction. So it's not an oxidizing. Can't say anything. It is not an oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent. Make it put a color. This is initially it's yellow, right? Madana potassium iodide, we'll see. Is it a positive color change or not? It's like blood red color. It was like yellowish color. Now it's like proper red. This is iodine. So that means, again, degree was negative, label again. Right? Solution E is what? Is an oxidizing agent because it reacted with our known what? Reducing agent potassium ion. You get it? Yes. Okay. And I make a my dumping karang in the gather. What is that? Right. Huh? Okay. මේකලියන් නේද මේකලියන් කලර් චේන්ජ් එක එක්ස්පෙරිමන්ට් එකක් ගත්තම ඒ ඉන්න පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්න ඉවර නෑ ඉවරයි කියලා කිව්වේ නෑ right so you have to write this experiment separate right A B C D and then you have to write your conclusion. Solution A is a reducing agent or solution B is acting as reducing agent as well as what oxidizing agent. I want a summary. Listen, make an answer. I know you are in hurry. But අපි හොඳට ඉවර ගන්න ඕන lesson එක. හරි. මොකද්ද ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ laboratory එකේ තියෙන non oxidizing agent එක? KMNO4. acidified KMNO4. හරිද? violet color. මොකද්ද එයාගේ color change එක reaction එක වෙනවනම් purple to
pink
colorless. Purple to colorless. Purple to colorless. Purple to colorless right? Hari. මොකක්ද ඔයාගේ well known reducing agent එක? Non reducing potassium iodide. එයාගේ color change එක මොකක්ද? Right?
yellow.
Colorless to yellow නෙමෙයි yellow hari මොනවාද? Brown hari. Yellow or brown. Done. Redox done. Redox reactions done. What? Right. Next day reactivities. Get ready for reactivity series. සමහර විට. හරි. නෑ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මම දැන් ටෙස්ට් අඩු කරනවා මේ network අපි revision class එකේ questions කරන හින්දා. Right. Next week I'm going to finish reactivity series part 1. Okay. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wrap up the meeting. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, sir. Have a nice day, sir.